I was one of these women for the longest time who thought that I didn't like schmegs, or turns out I do. And this is exactly what these men have done to us. Thank you, Dawn. Go follow if you're not following. I was celibate for 12 of my adult years. Not consecutively, it was like 5 years, and then I go hook up, and I was like, wow, this sucks. What's the point of this? Why does any woman do this? And then I go back into a state of celibacy. Now, again, I do not regret those stages of celibacy, because that is when I really came into my own, because I didn't have these men distracting me. But from an early age, I was convinced that I didn't even like schmegs because men sucked at it. They will literally research anything for hours and hours and hours on YouTube. They'll read books about it. Anything that doesn't involve us and taking care of us and caring about us, they will spend an infinite amount of time researching, almost to the point of obsession, where you're like, how much more can you possibly know about a stupid car? But in terms of, how to eat, nothing. They don't care. They don't care because their shame. Either they don't care or they care, but their shame will keep them from doing anything. Meanwhile, women will take classes, read books, anything to please a man. All the women's magazines, how to please a man. Screw that. I'm done pleasing men. Stop pleasing yourself too much. So at the age of 36, yes, 36 is when I had my first O. And then I ended up, dating that man and kind of like following him. I don't think I was in love with him, but I thought I was. And then he tried to unalive me, so whoop, that was over. So after I finally got over that, I went back out on Tinder, and you know what? I love schmegs. I love it. I love it a little too much. I love them cock. A little too much. Went a little overboard with that. Just making up for lost time. In fact, what I have learned since discovering that I don't actually hate schmeg is that it can be an unbelievably empowering thing. That is when I really felt I stepped into my power. As a woman, I felt desired. I centered my pleasure, and I hooked up only with men who cared. I'd actually get it in writing before I'd let them come over. I'm like, you gonna eat my... I honestly had the best time of my life. I've written articles for the Daily Beast, for Glamour, a bunch of articles about, just buying at a bunch of dudes and how awesome it was. I literally went from like celibate 12 years to like, woo! And then what I found out since I've dating men, since realizing that I don't hate schmegs, none of them can keep up. But my hat fell off. I'm too excited. Most men can't keep up with women, especially like when we're in our late 30s and 40s. We have a very, we want it. And so on this one end, you have women who are in marriages with men who don't even like them, who don't care about them, and who basically coerce them into like letting them drain their balls inside of them. And so women are always like, I have a headache, and they just, they convince themselves that they don't like schmegs because they have nothing but terrible experiences with men. And then you have women like me, and a lot of women I know, who feel shame that we're not I've got a headache person. I'm not supposed to want this. So then I feel, there's something wrong with me. I've really done a number on us, y'all. It's maddening.